Hi guys, it's Rachel and welcome back. Today, something we're going to be making is called an alternative garden. Now, an alternative garden is another way to make a garden if you don't have the means at your house, which means you don't have an area that you can dig and plant stuff. So, the materials you'll be needing is either a old paper towel roll or toilet paper roll, some blank or colored paper, something to color or draw with, so crayons, markers, colored pencils, a regular pencil, a glue stick, possibly a paintbrush, and I'll tell you why later, some paint, scissors, and possibly a stapler. So to get started, you'll start with your toilet paper roll. Now, if you have a paper towel roll and you don't want it this tall, that's where you would take your pencil and mark off where you want to cut it off, and then you take your scissors and you would just cut it off to the size you want. And you can make them whatever kind of lengths you'd like. They don't all have to be the same size because not all flowers are the same size like the ones you see behind me. So whatever you want. So then what you'll do next is grab your piece of paper. Now my paper that I have here is a little bit more stiff, so it might not stick with just glue, so that's why I have the stapler. But if you have thinner paper, it might just work with the glue. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your paper towel roll on the paper. Now if you look, I still have like all this extra space that I don't want. So I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm gonna mark where the top of this paper towel roll is on my paper, and then I'm gonna do it on the other end, make another mark. Now I'm gonna draw a line across just so I know where to cut. I don't have a ruler, so I'm just gonna use another piece of paper. But if you have a ruler, you can go ahead and use one. Okay, I've made my line. Now I'm just gonna take my scissors and cut it out. Now, if you didn't want to cover your roll with paper, you could also do it with paint. That's why I said you could possibly use a paintbrush and some paint, and you could paint it. That works too, but I'm just gonna use paper today. So now, because I said I have stiff paper, it's not gonna stick all that well. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set it on and I'm gonna roll it and roll it. Now I have extra. If I wanted to, I could just cut off the extra and just staple it where it is. Or if I want to, I could just keep rolling it like that and staple it, but it's up to you. I'm just gonna go ahead and staple it so I don't have to make more cuts. So there's one. And I'm stapling it where the paper overlaps so it stays closed. So if you want, you can decorate this. If you want to color it green or purple or green or whatever you want, you can take your crayons or your markers or your colored pencils and draw a design on them. Or you could just leave it blank, it's up to you, but you could color it in. You could draw a pattern on it if you wanted to, or you could make it look most like a stem. I'm just gonna draw some blue on mine. So if I drew green, you wouldn't see it because of the green screen that's behind me. So we can just color it in. You can color as much or as little as you want because it's your garden. By doing this activity, you've turned into a gardener. So I've got that. Now to do the flowers, you're gonna need another piece of paper, blank or colored, it's up to you. And I'm gonna draw a tulip flower. You can draw a flower or you can even draw a cactus too if you wanted to make a cactus. But I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm gonna draw really lightly because I don't want it to show up with the crayon. Now, to save paper, I'm gonna draw in the more of the corner of the paper because I don't wanna waste it because I could use the rest of this paper later for another flower. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my tulip. And I'm gonna try to make it kind of wide because of how it's gonna sit in our paper towel stem. And I'll show you guys. And you can check it before you cut it out. So I've drawn it out, and let me make it a little darker so you can all see it. Okay, so there's my flower. What you're gonna do with your stem is you're gonna take your scissors and you're gonna cut some slits here and probably right across from it here. And you're gonna cut 2 slits in your paper towel holder or stem for your flower to sit in. So now I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go down to my paper to see if it's big enough and if it'll fit. So if I go down and look at it, I have a little bit of it hanging over my stem, so I'll be okay. And if it goes into the stem a little bit, it'll be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and color my tulip in. If you wanted to give yours a design or a pattern, you could do that too. There are lots of cool flowers out there. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out. And you can cut it out as close to the crayon or the coloring as you want, or you could leave some space. That might look cool too. Kind of give it more of a 3D effect. And I'll show you another way to make it 3D too. Okay, so I've got it cut out. Now, back to our stem with the slits in it. You're gonna find them and you're gonna stick them in like, oh, there we go. Like that. And so it has a place to sit and stay. That way you don't have to try to glue it or stick it on anything. If you wanted to though, and you didn't want to cut the slits because that might be a little hard, you could always glue it on the front like this and it would just sit on the front of your flower. But I'm gonna stick it in. If you want to make it 3D, what you would do is you'd cut 2 more slits a little bit ahead of this flower and you'd make another smaller petal to put in front of it. Now, look at all this blank space I have. I could make so many more flowers with this, but right now I'm going to make some leaves. But I'm gonna actually use this piece of paper that I used earlier from making this, because I wanna use as much or as little paper as possible. I wanna conserve paper. So to make the leaves, I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm gonna draw a shape of any leaf I want, it doesn't matter. But I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger and I'll tell you why. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw a big leaf. And because my stem is blue, I'm gonna make my leaf blue. And I'm gonna draw a nice thing in the middle, and then I'm just gonna color it in. And then you're gonna cut it out. So there's a couple different ways that you can make the leaf stick on your flower. You could take some glue, that's why I said to grab some glue, and you could put a little bit of glue on the back of your leaf, and you could stick it on the front of your stem like this. Or if you wanted to, you could cut a slit in the bottom, and you could stick it in that way. I'll show you. So I'm just gonna cut kind of a longer one, and then I'm gonna take my leaf and I'm gonna slide it in, and it stays just like that. So there's that. I want to see what you guys are doing. Here's one I created that I painted first and I glued this one on, and then I cut a slit up here for this one and stuck it in, and it's a different kind of flower. Or here's another one I made where I didn't color in the stem, but I just put the leaves on. So I want to see what you guys are making in your alternative garden, so please comment down below and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.